Okay, I'm gonna make some coffee. New weigh-in. Hopefully people can remember this. 164. And remember we started at 172 in, I believe it was May. I believe so. If not April. No. Would have had to been last March. 172. And then, let's see, I'll do some math when we sit down. See, look at my, look how cute. So cute. And I don't think this is our regular time. It should be. A lot of people in here today. That's completely fine. Also, I'm gonna turn off the heater. I am warm now. I was just having this conversation with one of my girlfriends that she had gotten me a lot of scented perfumes. And I remember when I first graduated, well, growing up through high school, I was just wear clothes that made me look like a tomboy. I just would wear men's clothes all the time. And then wear sandalwood or wood smells, musk, gunmetal, or essential oils that were more warmer, I guess, spices, and fresh and clean smells. If I couldn't find anything like that, I would default to fresh and clean, out the shower smells, you know. And I would wear that a lot of the time. And then it was sort of this realization that I was having about why my choice changed, which I talk about a little bit on my Bigo and stuff. Maybe I'll just wait to sit down and we'll talk about it. I just found it interesting, and it's a realization. I just accept it, you know. It's something that, whoa! It's something I just accept at this point, if that makes any sense. I think it took me a long time to accept it. Let's make this coffee. Put 6 ounces in there, and then we'll get this as a little bit of espresso. I need to think about what I'm gonna eat. Hopefully those people call me back. I don't know. Also, our oven's still broke. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. But yeah. I'll make some coffee. And I'll tell you about my thought that I just had. I feel like we should put a question on there so people can come in and answer the question. Some hot water, 6 ounces. I want the caffeine to digest, so it has to be hot. We'll do about 3 ounces of espresso. That's 1.5. There's 3. Then it should cool the coffee down. And I have a little bit of banana bread here. We'll see how good it is. Or some turkey sausage, pepperoni. Hello, welcome, hello, hi. And then we have some water over there. I'll bring our vitamins over. Let me set this down right here. I wanted to get the vitamins. Hello. I'm doing well. How are you guys? Hello, hello, hello. What are you guys doing for the new year? Do you have any plans? Where does everybody live? Oh, and I need to put magnesium in the water. Yeah, where does everybody live? Where is everybody from? I'm good, good. Okay, I'm gonna have to put that in there too. Hello, 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 hello. I'm doing okay, thank you. Okay, good. I'm well, I'm good today. Today's a good day. Oh, shoot. Appreciate you for the taps. Mystery movie recommendations on board as fuck. Mystery movie? I don't know, you asking the wrong bitch. I'm sorry. I have no idea. Off the top of my head, I have no clue. I need to look up what a mystery movie really is, because I just be watching shit. I don't know. You're gonna ask me about the name of something, the title, lyrics. I'm not gonna remember. Off the top of my head? I'm just not that good. Nope. I'll have to think about it. Can I keep you right there? Bring all my shit. We'll have to look that up. That's a good one. Okay. You have very nice lips! That's so sweet. You guys are funny. Thank you, appreciate you. We're San Francisco. And this motherfucker out of this world. Okay. Alright. Nice. What are you guys gonna do today? I have to charge the phone. We need to charge it. Also, we're gonna try this banana bread. I didn't make it, so we're gonna see if it's good. We're rated 1 through 10. How about that? I have nothing else to give. One of my family members made it. Oh. It smells good. It smells like bananas. She put walnuts in it. There's a little bit of chocolate. Okay, we'll just try it. We'll rate it 1 through 10. A big piece? Or should we take a bite? This is good, right? I think that's good. And I appreciate you guys for the likes. Thank you for the taps. Yeah. Yeah. That's banana bread. Yep. I'll probably say about maybe, I try to compare it to Starbucks. I don't know if you've ever had that one. That one's really good too. I give it an 8. A solid 8. I know it has banana in there. I didn't get any of the walnuts though, so maybe I'll try it again and we'll rate it again. But sometimes if the walnuts are not cooked long enough, they're hard. They're supposed to get really, really soft under the heat. So that's how I'll actually make a better judgment. And we have some water right here. We need to put magnesium in it. We're taking vitamins. We're resting. We're getting started for the day. After this, we're going to Bigo. Sorry, I know that probably hurt your guys' ears. I'm from the United States, California. That's where I'm from. Taking a little bit of vitamins since we have a little bit of food. The weigh-in today was 164. I was just saying earlier when nobody was fucking here, just talking to myself, that I was 172 in March of last year. So I was gonna do some math a little bit to see kind of like how much I've lost per month on average, just to make sure it's at least, which I believe it's at least half a pound per week. Should be at least 2 pounds per month. I want long-lasting goals. And I'm kind of glad that I'm documenting this because I'd rather me document weight loss and give an example for people who might not know anything about nutrition, that I can document it the right way, like for the right way of what I'm doing, you know what I mean? So people can use it as like a proper reference and not just be like, you lost weight, how'd you do it? Tell us, you know what I mean? So hopefully that helps. I had a few things I wanted to talk about. I don't know. I don't know if you guys wear cologne or perfume, or if you had like a favorite scent that you liked. Where when girls wear perfume, like a preference, a sort of note, like a smell that makes you feel confident. It could be fresh and clean. It could be like musk. It could be spices, vanilla, cashmere. It could be anything. So I was just having a conversation about one of those things that she had bought me. One of my girlfriends bought me these perfumes, and they're very girly and floral. And I was just thinking about how I really didn't like those kinds of scents as much as I have tried this last year to try to embrace it and try to like it, you know, if that makes any sense. My preference has always been anything that smells like a fucking man, a cologne, something that's a more deeper smell, something that's stronger, more masculine. Nothing as light, you know, as maybe like floral or sweet smell. It's very light, you know. Or, yeah, I guess like anything that smells like fresh. So, like after the shower smell almost. And I would wear stuff like that all the time. And I was just telling my girlfriend that got me these very floral and sweet perfumes. I was just telling her, I was like, you know what? I used to wear this stuff when I was like going to the gym, just to like mask my smell. Like if it was really strong, or like if I felt like I was really sweaty after a workout, it was such a feminine smell that I would just put that on there to not like, I don't know, just smell like terrible. You know what I mean? Like fucking onions, like after I'm sweating at the gym. I was like, I probably would put this on because it really is obviously feminine smelling, so, and strong enough to hopefully mask my sweat smell or whatever, you know. But in my day-to-day life, I wouldn't wear stuff like that because it would just remind me of like, oh, it's a girly, like I didn't like it, you know. But I'm glad I realized that this year. Like I tried it and I didn't like it, and I tried to get myself into it. I just didn't like it. I didn't feel confident when I walk into a room because I didn't feel like me, you know what I mean? And that feeling of knowing when something's for you or not is such a blessing to be able to recognize, especially when it's deep, deep down. So yeah, I was telling her that I was like, I used to wear like gunmetal, musk, like sandalwood, wood smells, woody smells, earth tones, you know, essential oil or spicy smells, you know. Fresh and clean, easy, especially after the gym. That's what I used to wear, you know. I was telling her that, like, it's not, it's probably because of, like, how I would stream a lot and basically would get into this place or frame of mind of being like, oh, these people probably have never talked to a woman before and they probably have no idea what a woman is, kind of. And just because I would realize that based off their banter and like how they would speak in my chat room and stuff like that, it was very obvious that it couldn't really appreciate that there was anything other than like a hyper femininity when it came to the idea of a woman. And they couldn't separate the correlation between the two. Hyper feminine being like a lot of frills, poofy dresses, always styling their hair, very neat hairstyle, maybe a lot of jewelry, maybe smell like sweet perfume or something like that. Always wear pink, very docile in temperament. Yeah. Things like that. And I just couldn't relate, but I felt like the reasons why people were gifting me was dependent upon that. I was sort of catering to what they would dream about, you know what I mean? So I tried to get myself in a frame of mind to be like, okay, maybe I could try to be a little bit more girly. Maybe I could be a little more feminine. Maybe make it more fun for them, But at that point, I realized, like, I was getting unfulfilled. I was getting even a little bit depressed. I didn't even want to go on camera because of it. I was feeling insecure. And it was really because I just was going so far away from what I was, known myself to like and enjoy. So, which is, you know, just tomboy, if that makes sense. Sorry, my phone died. All right. You're good. But I'm just rambling about probably nothing you care about. Sorry. So maybe it was for the best. But yeah, so I'm glad I tried. I'm glad I tried to see if I could like it or to see if I could adopt it as part of my personality or appreciate it more, you know? But I remember being a kid and like my mom would always try to get me to wear girly things and like floral patterns and fucking paisley patterns and would style my hair like a little. She would dress me like a doll, and I don't know, I never liked that. And I would be almost upset when she would give me a gift that wasn't like something more geared to what I wish I wanted, like, you know. But I don't know, I kind of just felt that way, like realizing it when my girlfriend gave me that perfume that was really, really girly, and I was like, you know what, this isn't me, it really isn't. And I think I have a lot of regrets, like doing Bigo and just giving people what they wanted to see, I think I missed out on a lot of opportunities for me to have a lot of fun. And I think that's a big reason why I didn't feel comfortable coming on camera, because I felt a lot of pressure by people who really have never been around a woman, you know what I mean? Kind of like taking it personally to think that, I'm not as feminine, just reading too many like obscure comments, So, and eventually that like gets to you if you've streamed for long enough, And thankfully now I don't mind because it's easier to not care and easier to be able to deal with things like that whenever you know yourself very well. And in that sense, I guess it was still me trying to be able to understand if I could be that, could be a little bit more feminine, be comfortable. Or, I even had girlfriends question me and ask me, like, when do you feel the most feminine? Like, what do you do that makes you feel like a girl? I'm like, I am a girl. Like, you know what I mean? That question was so weird. I thought that was so weird. I thought it was weird to think about it that deeply because I'm just being, you wake up and you go. And so, and then I kind of realized, like, I don't really think about it like that because I am, I don't think about what makes me feel even more girly because I don't have to reaffirm myself, you know what I'm saying? So it's just really funny. I like it. I appreciate you. I want to say it is, here, let me look it up. I think it's an oyster shell. Let me see. But yeah, and that's kind of like where I would kind of come to that conclusion and feel like I'm just a tomboy. I can't, I'm sorry, Ooh. Yeah, oyster. It's an oyster shell. Spiny oyster shell. Spondylus. That's what kind it is. But, yeah, I don't know. And I'd have a lot of girlfriends kind of like, you know, they would call me like, I know it sounds corny, but they'd be like, you're such a badass, or like, you're just so cool. Like, you're not, you know, and they would be saying that, taking, like, and from coming from a very subjective place where it's like, they're complimenting because I'm so contrasted to them. Those women that were saying that to me were very, very girly, you know, and they didn't really share my interests, you know, especially when it came to like music, hobbies, how I dressed, you know, how I talked, people I would be more apt to engage with and stuff like that. You know, so, but yeah, I think that like me being able to like really not separate myself from like my stream to that extent, to be like letting myself express myself or try to express that part of me, and then seeing if it's for me, you know, in public, in real time, you know, I guess it's kind of hard to do. But yeah, I mean, after it all, after a year of me trying that, I'm like, no, it's not for me. Because I would show up and I wouldn't even feel confident anymore. Or I would even try not to come on the screen at all. I wouldn't stream on Vigo anymore. I would just try to do less time. I would just kind of just like, but I didn't really realize what that was coming from, you know, but I realized it was just how I was presenting, what I was wearing, that really was just for other people, what I thought other people wanted me to wear, you know, because I would get a lot of engagement based on those clothing or, you know, whatever it was. So it almost made it feel like, no, this is probably what I should do, you know. But I'm glad that I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. And I feel good, you know. And I guess I don't have that feeling deep down where I feel like, you know, not confident, which I never really felt until last year, I think. And 2024, I'll say that too. I'll lump those both in. I think I felt that way for too long, 2 years. Now at this point, I don't really care who comes to see me or not. You know, I just hope that people want to come hang out for the sake of connection and you know, feeling like they can share here and feel safe enough to share here. If they want to reach out for something to relate to, or if they just want to, you know, are they curious or they're interested in whatever I want to do. You know, they're not, you know, not here to change me, of course. I would hope the majority is like that, you know. So, or have questions for how I'm showing up, you know. So, Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Hello! Gosh, excuse me. I have indigestion. So, if that makes any sense, I was just saying I realized that. She gave me that gift, and then that's what I realized. I was like, this ain't me. I need to be me for real. This ain't me. No wonder I don't like it. No wonder it would be like a throwaway idea. Like, if I had nothing else to wear, then I would just try to, you know, I would just wash all my clothes if I couldn't find jeans, sweats, or cargo shorts, you know, like when I was younger. And now I'm just like, okay, I'll just try to wear anything else, like just try to venture out, which I do well at, and I hold my shoulders back and I'm confident, and that's fine. But, and people will compliment you and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't like it, don't fucking wear it. Don't wear it, you know? And I'm gonna have to tell myself that, don't wear it. I'm not. Even if I get lots of compliments and people like that, if I don't like it at the end of the day, that's all that matters, you know? Same thing with the perfume and all that thing, you know, all that stuff. So I realized that. I was like, I can't do it for too long. I can express myself if I feel like it, you know, try to be something other than myself and be okay with, you know, trying that. Kind of like wearing a wig. You can take it off. It's not permanent. So that's what I'm gonna try to do, is just keep showing up as myself and take it or leave it, because that's just who I am. So, but I guess I get caught up with the fact that people are You know, I guess like I would feel bad if people sent me a really big gift. She did her thing on this banana bread. Yeah, and then, but I didn't realize people were giving me a really big gift when I would wear my, when I was just being me, because that's why, you know. I didn't have to change. Yeah. And that makes me feel really good to know that. I didn't have to change. But yeah. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know if anybody's been able to come see me on Twitch, who's come hang out here. I've been streaming in my bedroom. My family's been over. I haven't been able to come on at the same time to come see you guys. So I apologize for that. And if you're bearing with me and you were hanging out with me the few days that I streamed, you know, throughout last week and then post on Twitch, I'm grateful you were able to be patient with me to upload. And yesterday I did a big content day. I was clipping everything, giving highlights about what I was talking about on Twitch and posting it here. Posted my vlog last night. You know, so I haven't really been able to come live though. Come hang out with you guys. Appreciate you for the likes. I'm happy you're not worried about the naysayers anymore. I'm older than you and I wasted so many years trying to conform to what others wanted me to be. Not anymore. Right on. Yes. And I was thinking that too. Yes, I get what you mean. I was thinking that too. I was like, there's a lot of people in my family, and I think I talk about this, or I might have mentioned this, but you'd have to kind of scrub through everything I posted on the internet to find it probably. But I had a lot of people in my family, I watched them sort of come into this place or be right in front of me of just being like, watching them be accepted by somebody who only they envy or are jealous of, that they don't actually really like. And once they get validation from that person, then they absolve all the things they know themselves to be that make them them, the reasons I like them, because they're being themselves. And then they want to change or want to value different things, you know, or adopt their values, which are not really aligned with their really sweet character or really true self. Or, you know, I can just be objective and see, like, that's not really what you like, you know what I mean? Like, and then when those people are not around, that are the people that they are jealous and envy, they're not around anymore, and it's just me and that person. It's like, this happens for a few of my family members. I'm like, you're doing that thing, but you only started doing it because somebody complimented you on that. You know what I mean? But I can't be here to tell that person whether or not, like, that was just a reason for them to try something new, or they're just trying to be someone else. You know what I mean? We could never know. So, but I'm glad that I'm watching these older people in my family kind of do that, where it's like, you're not really being you. You're probably just doing it because, you know, you can be inspired, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I could tell you don't even really like that. You know what I mean? Deep down. So, or, you know, just living for other people. And I'm probably the last born in my dad's side. My daddy had me when he was 50. So my siblings are at least 20 years older than me, 21, 25 years older than me. You know, I'm the last one. I'm the youngest cousin. So I really do have that perspective to where I can just sit and observe them. And then, you know, I would leave feeling like, yeah, I'm fucking different. I'm different, you know what I mean? And I would take it personal at first when I was younger, because they would make you feel like you need to be them. You know, they try to change you so badly, but I'm glad I learned that lesson young, and I don't have to be like them, still trying to find themselves, or still trying to, well, not find themselves, but still giving into false validation, you know. approval based on what somebody is just so glad that you're doing, if that makes sense. Like only complimenting you because of something they do, or that they put on, or that they like, or that they engage in. Like, oh yeah, I like that you're being more like me, is really what that is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like not really a true compliment. Sometimes you can tell the difference, you know, when it's more appreciation and admiration, when it's opposite of what someone does, or it's like, yeah, like, I'm glad you can see my point of view, and that's different, you know, rather than just like, I'm just so glad you're not doing that, you know, kind of making people feel ostracized for being themselves, you know, and maybe that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm grateful. And I don't know why I was going backwards with all of that too. Like trying that when I know I already discovered that wasn't me, you know. I knew that at 2020, you know. And then I didn't start to stream until 2022, you know. And I didn't let it affect me until 2024, 25, you know. So I felt like I was going backwards those last 2 years, just recently. And I was like, I've already learned this lesson, you know? But I still, in my mind, was like, I never really tried, though. I never really tried to like feminine things like that, even if it was just wearing pink, you know? And now I can appreciate pink, but I think everything else that comes with the idea of femininity, I can't do it. I can't. You know, I'm like, I don't care about smelling like a flower. I just want to like what I like, you know? That's all I see it as. Do you snore when you sleep? Fuck yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. My dad snored really bad, and so did my mom. My mom snores so loud, I would sneak out of the house, and if I heard her snoring, I knew I was good. My mama would snore so loud. So yeah, I snore about every night. I don't snore the whole night through, but definitely if I'm really tired or if I drank heavy, then usually that would be the precursor to me snoring a lot. What about you guys? Do you guys snore? Yeah, I think also too, it didn't matter how large or small I was, even through grief. I snored when I was like really, really like thin, when I wasn't really eating. And then after that, when I was my biggest, 172, I still snored. So I don't know. I think it's my nose shape. I think it's the way my esophagus is. I think I just probably inherited that. I don't know, from my family. My dad snored really bad. He would snore sitting up. Like really bad. Too much. Yes, we can. Yes, it's true. It's true. So I'm glad I've just like, I feel fulfilled. I've realized like the only reason I felt fulfilled from, you know, being a child up until 2017, 2019, 2020, all the way up until 2020. Like the only reason I had real full true fulfillment, you know, was when I just didn't care. So I'm glad I had streaming. I'm glad I tried my stream at 2022 to really test me, you know, to test myself and teach me those lessons. It's probably a weird way to learn those lessons, you know, because you're getting constant feedback from yourself in real time. So I'm glad that I didn't take it personal and then I just learned, is it true? Is it not true? If it's something I feel deeply in my gut, okay, yeah. I probably don't like that. You know, if I can't show up with my shoulders back, I probably don't fucking like it. Probably don't like what I'm doing right now, you know? So I'm just glad. I'm glad. You know. And I was thinking about that. I would hate to have those feelings through me having a child maybe in the future. Like if I was still trying to find out who I was, it'd be terrible if I couldn't have like an example already for my child, you know? So it's not about that. thankfully. I found myself at a really young age. And outside of you know, knowing you and what you like and what you don't like, who you are and who you're not, I don't want that to ever have a limitation on something very separate, which is finding new interests, finding what you like, you know, because it will just keep on going. Things unravel. There's so many things you can do in this world, in this life, that I will never limit myself based on what I already know I do like and feel comfortable doing, and what I know I feel like I do well, and what I feel like I can handle. I'll never stop there though, you know. Knowing that, then discovering something new or trying to accept new things or dabble in new things like I was with the perfume and shit, you know. I have every right to be able to try, you know, still. That doesn't mean I have to shut it all down or be like, no, I don't like that, you know. But, you know, be kind of closed-minded. So I'm glad that I'm not that either. That even though I know myself so well, I'm still willing to try, you know, to see if I truly do, or if I just have, you know, if I'm just like being blocked by pride and ego, or, you know, feeling scared or something like that. So I'm glad I'm not too scared to try. And I did that. I tried to wear floral perfume and fucking sweet smells for one whole year, and I didn't like it. And that's a stupid thing. It sounds stupid, but it made me realize a lot. And it made me accept, yeah, no wonder, you know, I felt that way so deeply, you know what I mean, before. So it must be, I know exactly what I felt, you know, in the very, very beginning before I even tried. I'm like, I just don't like those things. I don't feel like a girl. I don't feel like me when I wear those things. I don't. Okay. Have a good day. See you. Bye. See you. Oh, but yeah. We should keep this one up, huh? That way people can watch it. I don't know, this stuff looks crazy. But it's good. I can't lie. Some deodorant smells just as good. That's true. That's true. Mm. Mm. That's right. You like monster truck with football? No, I don't like football. But I like basketball. I like to watch the Olympics every year, like NASCAR. Mm. I like to go to baseball games, but I don't like to watch baseball. But my preference is basketball. Mm. But I don't have a favorite team, and I don't have a favorite player. Yeah. Oh, see my fucking light. Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. Yeah. It's all good. I swear I've seen that comment before. I don't know if this person's been here before, honestly. Appreciate you guys for the likes. What are you guys gonna do today? Do you have any plans? Does anybody have New Year's resolutions? I don't fucking make them, but maybe you do. I just have goals throughout the year, so when people ask me, I'm like, I'm still working on my goals, you know? My goals are long term, you know what I mean? So, and the small wins are for me. They're not for me to like shout out loud, I guess. Just they're increments to know that I'm getting closer to my goal, I guess, you know? But even then, some, you know, I don't know. If you guys made resolutions or if you wanted to change your lifestyle or maybe you wanted to save a certain amount of money or maybe you wanted to, I don't know, watch a series you never got a chance to watch, make time for you, go to the gym, read more, finish a book, I don't know, try new things. Because even if I make New Year's resolutions, I never fucking remember them, you know, ever. I don't make them. I'm still working. I guess I'll just share mine that I was doing. So, since March, and to tie it all in too, when I was doing Bigo, a lot of my life fulfillment with like me not being able to, you know, be okay with whoever didn't like the fact that I was feminine, like on my stream and stuff like that. As you know, the hyper feminine, obviously I'm feminine, but you know, like hyper femininity. If I wasn't giving into that, then what do you call it? Like it would kind of make me feel unfulfilled, you know, in general in my life, you know, and I didn't really know why, you know, but look at a lot of it had to do with just me and like how I was seeing myself in that moment. Like I'm just not that. I'm like, and I would tell my friends all the time, I'm like, I just do this for my stream, and you know what I mean? But now it takes up my whole wardrobe and it takes up every aspect of my day because I'm streaming all day, you know what I mean? So then it just really looks like me, you know what I mean? So I never really had a chance to break for myself, to like give myself what I wanted to wear, what I wanted to do, you know, solely for myself. So, and I would treat the gym that way. And I think that's the only time that I really got to express myself in that way, because I could wear gym clothes that were just like, you know, baggy, and it just made me feel more like me, you know. So other than that, I didn't really live in that expression like I used to whenever I was not streaming. So that unfulfillment led me to small wins like with food and stuff like that. So I would be eating a lot more, and all my channels and all of my stuff like for Bigo was around food a lot of the time, because either a lot of people like to cook or they like to watch mukbangs that would watch me or whatever the case was. So I would cater to that. I gained some weight. I was probably the biggest I've ever been. It was 172 pounds. And I'm, for reference, I'm 5'6.5". So, and none of my clothes would start to fit, you know what I mean? So that was, I didn't start making a change until last year in March, right before I went to Coachella. And I lost some weight, but I remember looking back at those pictures like, man, I didn't even really like, I remember going and being tired. I remember going and just like sweating profusely, being uncomfortable. When I was buying fabric, I had to buy a little bit more to make my outfit. I didn't really fit. I felt just out of shape. I just felt out of shape and I felt tired. It was terrible. I had a terrible time, you know? And just before then, I had started working down, like going to the gym and like getting back to that, and just avoiding any excess food that I'd be making that was just like solely for Bigo, just respecting that it'd be for that, or you know, for entertainment, not doing it every day, you know, which I had learned that lesson prior, and I was regressing because I was not fulfilled overall. And that food was just gratifying. Felt like I could only win in that way or feel good in that way, that dopamine hit for food. And so then from then, after Coachella, I was assiduously focusing on my diet, and just doing all the things I used to do when I would train people, when I would do nutrition for them. And I'm like, I can't forget the tool or the skills that I gained. I'm going to use them for myself, So that's where we're here now. I'm 164 pounds now, trying to lose it very, very slowly. I don't want to affect my hair texture, you know. I don't want to I don't want to, give into old habits, keep that structure, which is nice. So, and I want to make sure it's long term, that the weight gain, that the loss that I'm experiencing every week is adequate. It's not too much. It should never be more than 3 pounds a week, That way, whenever I cut my calories now and then go into a place of maintenance, I'll be able to not feel such a drastic change when it comes to maintaining, that I won't feel the need to binge or overeat or compensate for the lack of calories had for so long, So I'm in a deficit of 100 to 300 calories. That way, whenever I come off of this deficit, it won't lead me to all those negative effects, or weight gain back. It'll be substantial enough for me to sustain it, So it'd be nice. So, and that's some of the things I've been documenting. Every time I come on live, I try to update you guys. If there's anybody there that, was insecure about their fucking weight, or doesn't know where to look, or has no clue how to lose weight, or they're ignorant to nutrition, or they don't know where to start, or they can't assess or address what's wrong with them, they don't really know what habits are causing it. They lack self-awareness completely, whatever it is, So it'd be nice to be able to share that. And I used to share it on Bigo a lot, a lot. Today I'm focused on working out and studying anatomy. Wow. See, okay, I have something to say about that. I was going to work in the health area. That's nice. That's really nice. I don't know if they're still in the room. My dad was an artist, and he would specifically study anatomy and have encyclopedia books and stuff like that for the sake of how to be able to draw structures, have a reference point of how structures are on the body, so that way you can draw figures and head shapes and things like that. To understand curvatures, natural curvatures, that way when he would depict them, when he would draw them, it would look really accurate, So that's neat. And I do the same thing only for the reference of art, And then I have an interest in preventing injuries and rehab and stuff like that. So on Bigo, that's what I would do. I would share a lot of my knowledge when it comes to certain muscles or joints or areas in the body that get neglected and exacerbated through repeated negative efforts, or not enough, not just exertion, but flexion or extension or pressure under load for those areas. And so I would talk about those things when it came to my ankles, knees, my hips. Now it's my shoulders, wrists. That's what I'm on to now. Low back is what we talk about a lot now. So I agree. It's such a nice skill to know, It all correlates. I love pizza. I make really good pizza at home. Help you upgrade yourself. Well, I used to assiduously go to the gym. Whenever I was 14 is when I started my interests, in calisthenics and nutrition, So I would assiduously maintain, find goals to accomplish you know, up until I would say 2024, I would keep a deficit or a smaller maintained physique. And so I kind of didn't really know my life without it. If that makes sense, because even before then I was just a string bean before I decided to do that at 14. So I kind of always had that. And it wasn't until I regressed when I started to feel unfulfilled and like depressed from, you know, what I was just talking about, like basically like living a life that I was feeling unfulfilled with. I started to lean into the food. And then, so I finally got that feeling of a low point, you know, with my body, you know, for the very first time. And so now I just feel back to normal, you know, knowing that I'm working towards something. I can like what I see in the mirror, even if it's 4 pounds down, you know. So just the idea really that I've accomplished something, despite if I can see it in the mirror. So yeah, I mean, I just feel like me again, you know, regular. So I guess if that's the confidence that you mean, or the upgrade, so to speak, then yeah. I don't feel out of breath necessarily, so that's an upgrade. I was feeling that way when I went to Coachella last year. I'm not gonna hold you. I was fucking tired. I was so heavy, I was tired. I wasn't used to it. So I guess if that's what you consider an upgrade, sure. But to me, I just feel like, oh, I'm back to normal, you know. But I guess if you never know what that feels like for you, then I guess everything would feel like an upgrade. Then yeah, so that would answer your question. Never been to the Fiji Islands, never. Appreciate you guys for the likes. Right now, I have one girlfriend that I'm coaching for nutrition. She started at 185 pounds. She said that that was her weight whenever she carried her only child, whenever she was pregnant. That was her pregnancy weight. We've gotten her down now to, last week it was 181. She's yet to weigh in. I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago, she has yet to weigh in for this week because this was her vacation week. So I told her to weigh in on this coming Friday or Sunday. So we've gotten her 4 pounds down. And that was since we didn't start grinding until November. So she's lost about, up until now, maybe half a pound to 1 pound a month, fluctuating in between, but certainly not going past 181. And with a period, you know, with girls, it's a lot harder. Water retention, stress, you know, more susceptible to. So that's why it's been that steady for her. And thankfully, so that way it doesn't compromise her hair texture. Her hair doesn't thin, it doesn't fall out. So that way, whenever she gets off of this diet overall, when she loses enough body fat for her to be in a healthy range again, that way when she wants to maintain, it won't be too hard for her. So we keep her down at least 300, and she's in a 300 deficit, 300 to 400 deficit for her. And she's smaller than I am. She, I want to say, is about 5'4", I believe. So, and I think she's like a few years older than I am. I think she's 30. So this is appropriate for her and for her lifestyle. She lives mostly a sedentary lifestyle. Doesn't work out a lot. So we factored that in as well. So she's been doing successfully well. Anatomy is beautiful. Your father looks very interesting. Looks very interesting. Making art with anatomy is something impressive. Oh, you mean sounds very interesting? I don't think I've shown you guys a photo of him. Yeah, he is, well, he would always tell me that whenever I would draw and stuff like that. Hello, hey, what's going on? What's going on? He would always tell me that whenever I wanted to draw a subject, even if it was a tree, he would tell me to go out and study it. So that way, whenever I would depict it or draw it, I would get the details correct. You see, so eventually he had gotten to a point when he'd gotten older, he's like, I want to get really good, you know, I need to study, so that way, whenever I draw, I can get everything correct, you know, or have an exact representation of what I want to produce, which is probably the most realistic depiction, you know. So he would need a real, reference point, you know. So, yeah. And I never forgot that. So I remember one time he told me that whenever I was trying to draw bamboo, and he was like, you need to look up a picture, okay? You need to look up a picture of it. You need to sit with it. That way you can actually draw it correctly, you know, that's all. So it's decent. Okay, you guys, we got about 55 minutes here. I'm all talked out. I have to go to Vigo now. I'm tired and I'm running out of things to say. I hope you have a good day, that you feel good, and that, I don't know, that you're alive till tomorrow. Okay, see you, bye. Love you, bye.